Howdy folks, and welcome back to making a Fakemon region. My throat decided to clog up on me the second I hit record. It's what you love to see. But anyway, this is the show where I make a fictional landmass based around all the cultures of the world in one area, and I fill it up with fictional monsters based around real life cultures, cartoony cultures, and my own personal experiences. Last episode I made a few monsters based around winter, and today, at least at the time of recording this, it is 4 AM on Valentines. I'll tell you what I love most of all, and it's a terrible sleeping schedule. Now, despite Valentine's being mostly just about making money off of people's affections, most other people try to see it as a day about love and romance. So, I was throwing around some ideas. Maybe I'd make a commercialized monster, maybe I'd make a chocolate monster. But I was looking through my old Fakey decks I made a few years ago. God, what is it with my voice today? I found my old Fakey decks I did like 8 years ago, and I found a few designs that probably could have fit this episode. I've remade a few old designs in some previous videos, so I thought, why not make this a remake episode? It's only going to be a smaller episode because I am working on the next episode where I actually make the whole map for the region, and that's taking a long time, so I'm actually drawing it all. So this is just a mini episode to show some new designs, somewhat based on Valentine's. It's more so just the fact that I don't go another 17 months without making a Fakemon episode. So either way, this is Poramore, the first design, and oh my god does it hurt to look at. I understand that one of the most annoying yet common things most people who draw say is how their art is so bad, but you can't tell me that's good. I want to say in the past 8 years or so I've probably improved at least minusculely. So, let's give it a redesign. So when redesigning Poramore, I wanted to keep the idea that it is still a love heart, but I also wanted to make it look a bit more, not literally just a heart what bounces. I wanted to make it a bit more, realistically it could be an animal. You can imagine it living somehow. I guess the biggest problem when I'm basing most of these designs off of an idea of cartoony designs, that sometimes you can lose the idea that this is meant to be a living creature. I do try and keep that in as much as I can. So I like the idea that maybe you could argue that the fact that it looks like a love heart is relatively just coincidental, and that it is just a random monster what just happens to look like it's got a bud on its head. So the redesign isn't that much different. I gave it a more, not literally using the heart-shaped tool in MS Paint, because that's what I did back then. I wanted to give it a bit more, obviously I shaded. I didn't shade back then, well, nearly as much. And I wanted to give it a bit of a tail. In my original design, I believe this was meant to be just a normal type, but here I like the idea that maybe it is a bit more fish-like, maybe because my idea is that it's more like a tadpole that just kind of squirms through, like clear water ponds or something. I feel like that way it gives it a bit more identity rather than just a literal weird heart what bounces around with giant overcoloured eyes. Ugh. Stop looking at me! Go! Get redesigned. So here it is, the new Poramore, or Poramur. The name, I believe, because this was the original name, I believe it comes from pure and amour, which I believe is French for love, because French is the city of love. I guess that's what my child mind thought of. I think it's way better than the original design, because it's not literally using the heart tool on MS Paint. Right then, let's go on to the evolution, Pure Hain, which I believe is the same pure, but however this is French for hate. And again, stop looking at me, get redesigned, idiot. Now for those who want a little bit of a Lewis Idol history 101, I enjoyed creating characters to create more of a shock value. I was always kind of I like to creep people out, I like to make them feel weirded out, scared, confused. So most of my designs in this early era of mine were made for shock value. So the reason I'm in this decks, I thought, obviously I was a dumb child, so not all of them worked out very well, but the idea of a cute baby literal love heart bounced around, evolving into a literal broken heart with giant crying eyes. I think there was pink goo in the cracks and implying flesh or something. I thought that was really funny to me, because again, all what really thought in my head was how awesome it's gonna be when people react to this and get creeped out by it, because that's how I thought back then. Oh, I remember the first time I actually designed a character what people weren't creeped out by and they liked, and I remember how it felt. It felt awesome. But this isn't a Lewicidal history episode, this is a Fakemon episode. So when redesigning this, I wanted it to still kind of keep that creepy opposite of its pre-evolution aspect. I guess instead of making it just... Because I believe the point of it in its original design was it's just a heart what got rejected. It only evolves when it's been released, something like that. But here, I came up with the idea that poor Amor, as a child, loves caring for other animals, looks after people, cares for them. However, when it gets old enough, if it hasn't received any love in return, it evolves into Pure Hain. The idea is that if it runs out of love, then, well, it's not hard anymore. It becomes broken, becomes menacing. It looks a lot sad, but I feel like it is just more vicious now. It becomes a predator. I like the idea that it's a broken heart, but considering it swims through the water, it uses that broken heart bit kind of like as a jaw, what clamps down on prey or something. I thought that was cool. I also decided to give it tentacles because, well, the silhouette of it just being a broken heart seemed a little bit boring and plain to me. The idea of a regular heart evolving into a broken heart seemed very much like when people try and parody Pokemon evolutions, that kind of feels like what they would go for, because that seems like a very obvious one. So I wanted to give this design a bit more uniqueness. Plus they're like kind of ghostly tentacles, because the idea is that when the Pure Amor gets its heart broken, the spirit of its heart kind of wisps around it, which becomes these like ghost-like tentacles, what aren't purely ghost-like, but they can phase through the human skin. And it's said that, if a human stays in contact with it too much, they just get really sad, like permanently, forever. Like their heart breaks forever. See how they like it. Something like that. And I'm also going to bring this up now because I keep wanting to bring it up. I've got two monitors currently, and I'm pretty sure one of them shows colour differently to the other. And I don't know which one shows the correct, like what it actually looks like, and it's super weird to look at. And I'll bring it up for Pure Hain because when designing him, it was really weird because he's got a very saturated blue colour. And, well, obviously, when you're working with saturated colours, you've got to be careful when shading it, so make sure it's not too light or too dark. And going back and forth on the different monitors, it was pretty difficult to do so, because obviously I wanted to make sure it looked good no matter what monitor it was on, which is a bit awkward, because I don't know which monitor it's actually going to look like. Oops. Either way, this is the brand new Pure Hain. I got rid of those giant bulbous eyes staring at me. Get gone. I removed the weird flesh for some reason. I really like this one. I think it looks really weird. Yeah, I like the idea that it's one of those designs what looks really weird, but is like, at least competitively or something, it's really good. I imagine it being really bulky, really strong. Water ghost type, and I guess Pure Amor would also be a water type, because they're both kind of like tadpoles. Yeah. I was thinking of adding a split evolution where Pure Amor keeps the love it wants and evolves into like a heart frog or something, because I thought that'd be really cute. But I wanted to focus on the redesigns for this episode, so that's what we'll stick to. I will get back to that at one point. I am just going to do like a few episodes where I revisit a bunch of old designs and give them a bunch of evolutions. But for now, Pure Amor and Pure Hain. Right, let's go on to the last three designs we've got. These are the Sweetlings. I believe a mix just between Sweet and Link, a small. I'll mention the Sweet bit later because it makes more sense with its evolutions, I guess. And wow, these are what I would call not designs and semicircles with lines on them. So when redesigning these, I immediately knew I didn't want to make them just blobs, because why? And I knew since they're based on bugs, I wanted to make them a bit more, I was thinking maybe leech-like, but then I realised that's a bit too gruesome for these cute designs, so I made them cute little weird sluggy things. And now that I realise it, these two are the first male and female difference ones we've got in this region so far. So that's cool. Sexual dimorphism, that's the word I was looking for. Wow. Obviously in their original designs, it was literally just one's pink and one's blue. And the same is more or less the same here, but at least they're not literally just blobs. I like the idea that the males tend to be a bit more bashful. They're a bit more slightly bigger than the females because they tend to bash into each other a bit more. They've got weird like ooze around their eyes because I guess their eyes get dried quicker, so they tend to ooze them up longer. And they're slightly longer, and they've got more visible tails. Because, you know, why not? It's not much, it's better than just a hue shift. And whilst designing these, I thought maybe their bodies did look a bit too bland, even though they've got a longer body shape, there wasn't anything on it. So I gave them little stripes because I feel like it made them look a bit like sweeties, like sweet little slug things. I thought that was a really cute thing, and I think it works into the theme of them being very pastel coloured, maybe like sweets or gummies or something. So, plus their name is Sweetlings, so I thought that worked cutely. Plus I like how the female looks, at least to me, like cuter, like with their smile and eye shape, whilst the boys do look a bit more, they're cute, but in a derpy way, with their kind of chubbier cheeks, weirder smile, and their befuddled eyes. I like them. They're cute. So yeah, these are both Sweetlings, the pink one being female, and the slightly bluer one being male. They're not just semicircles anymore. Hooray! Right, let's evolve them both. So, again, younger me liked the idea of a shock factor. So, this is Switterfly, what the female evolves into, a beautiful butterfly. And the male evolves into Sweater Roach. That weird thing. Again, my younger self liked the idea of the shock value. Oh, this female one's really cute. Let's see what the male one is. Oh boy. No idea why I decided to make one literally go into a butterfly, but hey ho. Let's give them both little redesigns. So, a fun fact I discovered whilst doing some minor research, that there is actually a species called slug moth, which is, they get their name because their caterpillar larvae look a lot like slugs, and they evolve into moths, which is similar to a butterfly. I thought that was a cute fact. We'll throw that in as an inspiration. If people ask me, that's what inspired it. I'm actually really smart. I didn't want to redesign the first one Switterfly too much, in the sense of, I wanted to keep it just a cute butterfly, because, well, the only other butterfly we've got is Skitterfly, and he's radical. We don't really need another radical butterfly, so we'll go cute on this one. A few main things I wanted to change was give its wings more of a silhouette, like a love heart, because I thought that was, because it's Valentine's Day and it's all cutesy. I thought that'd be a cute, like, fun little thing. And include a little bit more of the first evolution imagery in there, with the slug eye shape of like the two triangles. I included it as like a double tail underneath the butterfly, and also you can't see it in the sprite very much, but she does have kind of like two weird ear things at the back of her head, similar to that of her slug children, just about the eye things. Am I making sense? I hope I am. Yeah, I didn't want to change too much about it. I just wanted to make it less generic and make it a bit more believable that this evolved from the Sweetling. And I guess I'll explain their names now, because I believe as a child I just like the idea of sweet and sweat both being spelt the same way, so having a sweet pre-evolution and then a sweaty second evolution, as in a cute one, then a gross one. So having one called the Sweetlings, then the Sweeter Fly, don't know why it's spelled Switterfly, I guess that's just to make it different and quirky. And then have the other one, Sweater Roach, because it sounds really gross, I guess. I guess that's the reasoning. I could have given them new names, but I feel like I kind of like these old names, and I feel like they've still got a relatively good enough reasoning to keep them enough anyway. Plus they've got a relatively nice ring to it. I keep saying relative too much, don't I? I'll also just mention halfway through the video randomly, if you like my voice and you want to see me play through an entire Pokemon game without using any Pokemon, I've got a system where I've got 3 unique characters, well, I've never been in a Pokemon game before, and I'm letting people comment which one they want to see. It's a voting process. The first character to receive 5 votes I will put into a Pokemon game, and then I'll commentate my journey playing through the entire Pokemon game with that character. I want to thank everyone who voted in the last episode. Obviously you can't vote twice, that's cheating, but if you haven't voted yet and you want to see a certain character in a Pokemon game, feel free to comment. The 3 voters are the Squally, the Pizza Pirate Chef Duck, Toad the Electric Alien, and Spooks Jr. the Ghost. If you want to see how these 3 would work in a Pokemon game, well, comment down which one you want, and first one to 5 votes wins. I believe Pasquale's in the lead, maybe. Back to the Fakemon then. So Sweater Roach, I wanted to make it a bit more elongated, like its pre-evolutions, instead of it just being a blob. And I wanted to change its weird plant-like tail into a more, like, its regular body just kind of grows into this thorny, spiky tail thing it uses for self-defense, rather than just a weird bulb tail. Like, I wanted it to have an actual reason. And I gave it its stalk eyes back. I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep them, like its new or old one, but I feel like it just being a long slug with yellow eyes and a kind of green tail, again, was a bit boring, so I gave them these weird purple stalks. Again, the monitor thing, it was hard to, like, when I originally made this, and in the recording, it might not look all that purple, but on my monitor I was drawing it on, it did look really purple. So I don't know which one is the right one. But either way, I changed it in post anyway. And I gave it its blue rings back, because, again, I just made its body not incredibly boring. So yeah, as a kid, I obviously liked, again, the shock factor of the males being really disgusting and ugly, and the females being really cute and frey. But as an adult, I guess I can make it, into a whole. The females don't judge the males on their looks, they judge the males on their ability to care for their families and protect their young, because that's what matters to a Sweeterfly, their children and their family. They don't judge what's on the outside, they judge what's on the inside. And frankly, I think that's a much nicer message. I'm a much happier person as an adult than I was a child. I say that, I am writing the lore and story of this region, and it does get pretty dark actually. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But either way, here is Switterfly, or Sweeterfly, and Sweaterroach. Again, I like these two way more than the originals. It's weird because the originals look a lot more flatter, and I think that's just because less shading and less depth, I guess. I'm not really too good at depth anyway. I do struggle on some designs, you can tell, where it's not as obvious that they have, like, girth to them, I suppose. But I think I'm a lot better than I was at least 8 years ago. Again, at least minusculely. Is that an even real word? I guess it is now. But yeah, that's all the designs. A relatively shorter episode comparatively, which is funny considering I've almost been recording for about 20 minutes, and it's been a very simple episode. I like talking, I don't know if that's obvious or not. But either way, I hope you all enjoyed them. Let me know what designs you like. Feel free to vote on a character you want to see in a solo run, if you want to see that. I'm not sure when the next Sidlemon episode will be after this, because I am still working on the map, and it's going to take a while, so hopefully soon rather than later, and if it is going to take too long, I'll do another mini episode like this. But either way, folks, thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what you all think in the comments, or don't, but that's not going to help anyone now, is it? Let's be honest. You've heard me ramble for 20 minutes, let me read your giant paragraphs on how my designs suck. Why not? But either way, folks, thank you all so much for watching. Enjoy your Valentine's Day. Or don't. It's just a way to make money off of people's love, so you don't have to really enjoy it per se, but, just enjoy life in general. Sure, there you go. Toodaloo, folks, and I'll see you all in a bit. Toodaloo.